made. We have a special treat for you today. If you haven't seen our show before, this is Millionaires Are Made, where we believe you can be a millionaire in all 6 aspects of health. We do our episodes on your physical health, your mental health, your social health, your financial health, your intellectual health, and today's episode is your spiritual health. This show is built on the fundamental belief that every person you meet knows something you don't, and that you can learn something from virtually everyone. In the spirit of authenticity, I don't even get to know who our guests are till about 15 to 30 minutes before the show when we meet to go over the logistics, how the show is going to work, so that we keep it as real and transparent as possible, so that these tips, which today is going to be spiritual health journaling, I don't want any bias on them. These tips are unbiased. Today's lucky. We got 4 guests, first time ever. Our last episode, we only had 2 because someone got sick. So we decided to make up for it. And we have 4 guests today. It's going to be a wild one. Hope you guys are excited. Audience, we love more than anything when you comment and you ask questions that we can answer live for you. So if you have anything that hits your mind while you're watching, please type them in the chat box. We monitor it and can see everything. We'll put your comment up and we will answer it right there on the spot. Cool. We got 2 sponsors today. This episode is sponsored, firstly, by Pharmaceuticals, Colorado's premier cannabis dispensary. If you use cannabis for medical, recreational purposes or anything of that, go there. It cannot be shipped legally, but in Denver, if you want the best cannabis and the best prices and the best service and the most knowledge, they've won cannabis cups, connoisseur cups, THC cups, Colorado cups. Highest quality cannabis, go to Pharmaceuticals in Denver, Colorado. Our second sponsor is for those that like a little more adventure and like to go off-roading. Gunther's Adventures is your one-stop shop for adventure, inspiration, and cleverly designed Toyota upgrades. Go follow them on Insta. The link's being dropped right now. You'll see all the crazy adventures and off-roading, 4-wheel driving, and all that stuff, which I think they're actually moving to Denver or Colorado. Whether you're a seasoned overlander or a weekend warrior, Gunther's helps you push your Toyota further. They're associated with Hellview Designs, which explores the capabilities of the Toyota SUV platform with cleverly designed products, advice, and adventures. So go check them out. Oh, this is fun. Anyone watching this, we need more guests. We love guests. We do a lot of guests. We do about 6 every week. So if you want to get your voice out there and you have something you want to share, which I know you do, everybody has something they can share with the world, please sign up. Links being dropped right now, www.millionairesaremade.com. Be a guest on our show. Come say hi, have some fun, and share some knowledge with the world. On that note, if you have a topic that you're struggling with, anything, spiritual health, mental health, physical health, something that you're struggling with, let us know. We will go out and we will find guests that have advice that can help you solve your problem. As much as I love this show, I also love doing one-on-one coaching. So we do have free coaching that I give. I love sharing all my knowledge and sharing knowledge of everyone. Make sure you follow all of our guests. Go check them out, see what they do. A lot of them are coaches as well. But if you want to talk about any subject or anything you've seen on one of our shows, one-on-one with me, let me know. Links being dropped below. I do offer a lot of free coaching. And finally, if you love what we do, sharing knowledge from all around the world to everyone, please do the stuff that everyone asks for. Like, subscribe, share, comment, all that fun stuff so that we can keep growing and keep sharing as much information and advice as possible. Whoo! All right. Well, we're going to bring our first guest out. We got 4 today. First time ever on Millionaires Are Made. We got 4 guests. Our last episode had 2, so we had to switch that up. Today, we're going to pull out Amparo. And excited to be here. Maybe she loves journaling. I don't know. We're going to find out here. Amparo, tell me, who are you?
Hi, my name is Amparo. I'm the founder of Azteca. So I support femme-identified warriors confront eons of social programming, keeping them small, silent, and second-guessing themselves. Nice to meet everybody.
Thank you so much, Amparo. Let me ask you this very, very important question. If I wanted to improve my spiritual health with journaling, give me one piece of advice.
So I'm going to cheat and say that I have a 2-parter. So the first is to approach journaling as a way to cultivate safety with yourself, to develop a relationship with yourself. And the second tip is to consider not just writing as a form of journaling, but also to record audios and to record videos for the same purpose.
Awesome. Great. I love it. Okay. Well, tell us what happened on your life journey to teach us that piece of information.
I just say I'm so proud of how succinct that came out. So the story behind it is rough. I'm an abuse survivor. I escaped several years ago, and when I first emerged, I had signs of brain trauma. I had no experience of safety, just existing in my body, existing in the world. So I had to rebuild my internal life and my external life from the ground up. And there was no one that I could really speak to. Not even professionals were equipped at that time to support me with the level of trauma that I had, very severe CPTSD. And so I would just write and audio record, go on extended hours long walks and just record myself talking out loud at a certain point, because I needed to reestablish a feeling of safety, just existing in my own body and cultivate the beginnings of a better relationship with myself. So that's how it started.
I mean, sad to hear, but good to see how much you've grown. Tell me, how much do you journal? How do you do it? What do you do? Why do you? Oh, I guess you answered why. How do you do it? And what details do you have for that?
Yeah, I journal almost every day because again, I don't just write. I also go on walks and I record myself speaking out loud as if I am journaling. So it's an opportunity for me to talk with myself, to talk with that sacred part of myself. So every day I'm reflecting. Every day I'm using that time to digest my life, to process, to think about the big questions. And I think it's very important. As far as I can tell, the vast majority of humanity doesn't pause, doesn't reflect, doesn't ask themselves those really hard questions until we get into those things like midlife crises. And then it's like, but if you do this regularly, it's sort of like daily maintenance, right? So like you don't shower once every month. That would be awful. You shower every day. You shower every few days because you need maintenance. So yeah.
Okay. Do you video journal or audio journal or physically journal?
All three. And it's so
Every
hard.
day?
Yeah, yeah, one of those. So the video journal in particular, like we're so conditioned to looking at ourselves and criticizing ourselves and being really mean to ourselves. But if you bust out a phone, specifically purely with the intent to just talk to yourself out of a state of compassion, you start to notice how you're looking at yourself, how you're talking to yourself, and you start to change that relationship with yourself over time. So the way that I talk to myself and look at myself now versus a few years ago versus like 5, 6, 7 years ago is so different and it feels better. Like my nervous system feels calmer. It just feels good to exist in a way that I didn't experience before because I've been so intentional in using journaling to do that.
You just already impacted someone. We just had an audience member that said, nice tip. Hadn't considered it from that perspective before. Look at you already. Awesome. Well, Amparo, that was great. I'm gonna put you in the backstage now. We're gonna move on to our next guest. Thank you for your awesome tip. We're gonna bring Elle out. Hey Elle, how are you and who are you, more importantly?
I'm fabulous. Thank you for having me here, Austin. Super excited because I love to share my gifts and talents with the world because otherwise they're running amok in here and they're going crazy. So this opportunity allows me to, I guess, keep my sanity, so to speak.
So it's helping you as much as it is helping others, huh? I like that. I like that.
So who am I? So I'm Elle Grinnell, the founder of TrueSpeak. I've been at this for a little shy of 30 years, and I specialize in inter and intrapersonal communication, meaning getting the voices in your head straight first, kind of like what Amparo was saying. We don't speak very well inside, and nobody hears that craziness, right, but us. And so I help people manage those voices and kick the ones that I call the bullies to the curb, so that then everything you say, which leads to everything you do, is more in alignment with what you want instead of what you don't. So that's what I specialize in. But I've also been certified in a process called transformational meditation. It's a scientifically proven process that helps you get those voices. Basically, we rewire those neural pathways, right? So the old ones can't run that way anymore. That path gets broken off and the new ones get created. So I love what I do. I wake up every day grateful for another day to share my gifts and talents with the world, and it's never work.
I love it. I love it. Her link's being shared right now as well. So go check Elle out, especially if you like the answer to this next question. Elle, if I wanted to improve my spiritual health with journaling, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
The tiny piece of advice I would give is have little note cards everywhere. So for me, your purse, the car, by your bedside, anytime something comes up, and then you have a little like a box, a note card box, like recipe box kind of, that you keep them in so that they're not all over the place. And that way, no thought gets lost, no thought left behind. Everyone is important, even the crappy ones, because when you can get them out of your head, then they don't take real estate there anymore.
Oh, man. All right. That just hit home. No thought left behind. Even the crappy ones take real estate in your home. We're definitely clipping that, Elle. That was good. I like that. All right. Well, this one might be a little tough, but where on your life journey did you learn this piece of advice? How'd you come up with it?
Well, I'm a writer. I've written 3 books. I've got 2 more still definitely left in me. And I became a reader first, which led to being a writer, right? My mom read to me in the womb, and I've just been a reader forever. And when you make a book, one of the things that I learned in writing my book is to put those note cards on the wall. Anytime you have an idea of something that would be valuable in your book, you just bam, paste it up there on the wall. And then you make sense out of all of that. So that's why I recommended this as a technique.
Very cool. So I do that kind of, but I do it as tabs on my laptop, and I probably have like 400 tabs open right now. Eventually, I'll gather them all together at some point in my life. Oh, that's awesome, Elle. You dropped some knowledge there. Any last words before we move on to our next guests?
Just to help you, Austin, there's a program called Workona, WORKONA, where you can put all your tabs in little files, and you can always find them whenever you need them.
Oh, man, that sounds like even more work. Awesome. Thank you. I love it. I'll have to go check that out. We're going to move on to our next guest then. Thank you so much, Elle. All right, we have our first ever duo guests episode. I think this is like our 50th episode. We've got Zay and Devin. They're going to tag team these questions. Let's start off. I gave you guys a little extra time just because you got 2 of you. So let's start off with, who are you guys?
What's up, Austin?
So
my name is Zay.
What's good, Austin? What's good? And I'm Devan Edwards. And we are the founders of the Total Freedom Network. And so at the moment, we're particularly accountability consultants who support executive leaders and organizations and people in general to increase productivity, optimize efficiency, and generate and maximize their profits so that they can lead a culture of excellence. But at the core of it, what we do is we help people budget their calendar and really prioritize their time so they can thrive in the process.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Anything to add to that, Zay?
Yeah, we love this episode. We love this episode of talking about journaling because it looks different, like one of the previous speakers mentioned. And so really, when you go through the process of becoming your own best friend, right? Talking to yourself through writing, there's so many motivational speakers who said like there's something magical that happens whenever we actually write and, when the pen hits the paper. So whenever you're becoming your own best friend, and it doesn't have to, you don't put yourself in the box and say, oh my gosh, how do I journal? You just trust yourself and let yourself talk to yourself as a friend and write it out. You grow spiritually.
All right. Yeah, I like that. So, right. So okay, we got time. We'll touch on it real quick. So do you think that writing is going to be better than video journaling?
I think they all serve their own purpose.
Okay.
Depending on what you are going through and what you need in that moment for yourself, you allow yourself to pick up, a different approach. It's kind of like eating ice cream. I don't know about you, but I love ice cream. And sometimes I want a different flavor, but I'm still getting my happiness and my fix from ice cream. That's like a crazy example. But, if you feel like, hey, let me write it out. I do believe that there is something something magical that happens when we actually have that connection of writing and seeing our words on paper, but then also us talking to ourselves and seeing ourselves and looking at ourselves and, you know, doing that mirror work with ourselves. That also does something as well.
Yeah,
we have to also ask ourselves, like, when are we best aligned in our mind, body, and spirit to actually feel like we want to do this journaling, or actually to prompt ourselves to say, oh, I got this spark of thought, I got this inspired thought. Maybe it's on video, maybe it's on paper, but whatever that looks like for you as an individual, that's what you get to do initially.
I like it. I doubt there is any. It would be interesting to see some research on someone that journals on paper for a year, someone that video journals and doesn't journal, and how their dreams come true. But I don't know if you could even statistically research that, but it'd be interesting. All right. Are you two ready for the nitty gritty real question of the day? If I wanted to improve my spiritual health with journaling, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
My advice would be to romanticize your sessions. So again, no matter whether you decide to video it, no matter whether you decide to write it, no matter if you decide to audio it, from my experience, journaling has definitely been a super intimate moment. And so, sometimes when I journal, I'll light the candles, I'll play some luxury spa music, I'll do incense. I really romanticize the session. So I let my guards down with myself and I begin to trust myself in the process, and also give that extra layer of self-care while I'm in that journaling session.
Devin, do you agree?
Yeah, and you really want to. I mean, I agree. Like, you have to, you really have to elevate your environment, because every space that you occupy gets to be sacred, especially if you're moving with intention. So one thing is key is to prioritize our focus on our spirituality. So what we have to ask ourselves, not only what does our spirituality mean to us, but how are we thinking and feeling at the moment that we want to journal? How are we thinking and feeling just in general? And that has to be written down first before any other thoughts follow on from that.
Cool. All right. Well, we got 2 minutes left. Let me ask you guys what happened on your life journeys that brought you to this piece of advice. How'd you learn it?
Myself, I've always been kind of a writer as well. I needed a friend. And so just writing down, I've always had diaries and stuff as a kid. But then I will say, when I really began to take it serious, I was going through a super traumatic experience in my last job. And I needed something. I needed somebody. And yes, I had Devan, that's my partner, but I needed something more. And so I realized the more that I was journaling, both through video journaling and writing, I began to heal myself. So for me, it was really taking it seriously and being more intimate with it throughout a healing journey from just a traumatic experience that I was in my corporate job.
Yeah. And for me, I was my journey is a bit abstract. I was kind of forced to prioritize my spirituality, because in terms of my dreams and what happens in my waking life, a lot of spiritual things happen. So I've seen different parts of myself, and I've been able to communicate with different parts of myself on multiple dimensions and stuff like that, and just communicate with my ancestors. And those things have really anchored me towards prioritizing what is meaningful, what is impactful in my life. And so I've got insights from in my dream state. I've got insights from my spiritual teachers that I've come across on my journey. And from naturally, I'm a poet, so I just write down whatever thoughts come to my head. And then now I not only find research to back it, but I find people that have also experienced what I've been feeling and what I have experienced as well. That's been my journey.
All right, you guys, we're going to do one comment from the audience now, and then we'll bring everyone out and hit the next one. So Dominating says, Zay is gifted. I like the ice cream theory, and I'm in the loop now. Do you want to take 20 seconds to touch base a little more on your ice cream theory?
I mean, I just be coming up with stuff and ice cream. Maybe I'm doing 75 hard right now, so maybe I want some ice cream subconsciously. So
I love 75
yeah.
hard. Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're doing the year program. So yeah, I mean, just trust. See, whatever comes to you, just let it out, because you were able to relate. I'm glad you were able to relate, because I'm like, why am I talking about ice cream? So yeah, just trust yourself. Write it on paper, get it out there, speak it out.
All right, stories. We'll get to your comment in a second. We're actually going to move on. We're going to bring everyone out and just start fucking chatting about spiritual health and journaling. So I guess we'll just kind of go with it. We'll just start with his question. Usually we kind of do a round robin, but if we got questions, Stories is asking, do you recommend journaling with your partner, or is it a personal thing?
That's a good question. You know how we were all saying it's all good, video journaling, book journaling. The same thing goes here. Journal your own stuff and partner together to create synergy that wouldn't exist if you didn't do that.
Yes, I agree. Your relationship with yourself is number one. After you figure out who you are and work out all the kinks and all the feelings and the emotions and thoughts with yourself, then you have the credibility with yourself. You have the confidence to actually partner with other people. And then you have a foundation for yourself to actually contribute and add value to other people. So definitely start with yourself, I would suggest.
Yeah, it's a good way to build a life, an internal life, a creative life with someone, as long as you're safe, right? So make sure you're safe.
All right. In response to Zay, we got a comment that says, Devin, defend yourself. I'm not entirely sure what it means, but Devin, you're being called out the answer.
I don't know what that means.
Start something.
I don't know what that means. I mean, if you're referring to, I don't know what you're referring to, but if you're referring to the journaling aspect, journaling by yourself is needed because, again, it's your unique experience initially, and you don't want to dilute your experiences. So in all the time that we occupy, time is a structural experience. So if we're feeling unstructured in our life, if we're feeling out of place in our life, we because of these experiences we're having, we get to structure that around it. We get to prioritize. We get to do our to-dos, all that good stuff. They won't give you ice cream.
Zay's got her own ice cream. She ain't sharing.
Who are these people?
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, we're doing 75 hard. We can't even eat ice cream right now.
So real question though, let's. I don't know if I've ever really thought about this. So journaling yourself is a huge practice, right? And all of you obviously are big on that. Mm-hmm. Have you ever been in a relationship, or would you ever be in a relationship where you do journal with your partner? You can still journal on your own, right? You can take 10 minutes journal in the morning, but maybe you both journal alone in your bed or whatever, and then you roll over and do a partner journaling. I've never thought of this. I've never heard of it. Just dominating is just pushing this shit in my mind. Anyone have experience with that, with a co-journaling almost? Like you both just sit and just spill your thoughts out and move from there?
Yeah, we have actually. Zay and I particularly have done that. We wrote poems together, poetry together. So we wrote poetry together, and journaling. We've done journaling together as well. But most of the time it's been journaling. Most of the time it's been journaling next to each other, but still uniquely our experiences, and then sharing that together. And then, as Elle perfectly put it, we synergized our experiences together to create something.
So then do you journal separately? Do you ever read each other's journal or talk about it, or? Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think that's actually.
But again, it's not for everyone. So sometimes everyone's gonna have their own boundaries in terms of what they want to share.
Good point.
But for Zay and I, our foundation is to have integrity, to be honest with each other and openly communicate. So we just move based on our core values. We just move based on how we're moving. So.
And I never thought of it as co-journaling. Honestly, my past husband and I were going to open a business together, an Airbnb on the Big Island of Hawaii, and we would journal, which I didn't realize that. We would dream, we would imagine colors of the wall, location, and we would put all this together. And I just now realized we were co-journaling. We were co-creating an experience in the formless to draw it into the tangible. So there's definitely value there,
Dude,
no matter how you call it.
we may have just created a brand new little branch. I don't know if I've ever heard that. I mean, you could write a sentence, your partner writes a sentence, you write a sentence, and you just like, wake up in the morning, each you take 10 minutes, write your own journal, get your thoughts and your own personal shit, and then you get back together and start focusing on the couple. You both just start journaling together. I don't know. Zay and Devin, you may have to do some scientific research for us and let us know how it works out.
We'll go first. Yeah, sure.
You're nominated now.
Pioneering.
All right, guys. Well, we got like 3 or 4 more minutes. Anyone? I'm just gonna leave this open ended. Anyone? Don't forget we do have to come up with our daily challenge, so you can start thinking about that too if you want. But yeah, I'm gonna leave this open to whoever wants to ask something. Audience, feel free to chime in. We got a couple minutes. If you have any questions you need answered, Amparo, El, I'm sure you guys have some more to talk about as well.
I would like Devan, he said something earlier this year about everything we get to do is spiritual. Devan, can you share that quote with him?
Yeah, so
go ahead.
Was that okay? Yeah, so it's my belief that everything we do in life gets to be spiritual based first. And so by being spiritual based in our life, we have to understand what is it that anchors us at the core of our being. So like you have to really identify who are you as a person, because you might not even be this person that you think you are. So you get to initially go deep on yourself and really ask those hard questions. What are those major challenges that you faced in your life, and how did that shape you? And what does that shaping of yourself look like right now? Does it look like, are you now courageous now? Are you now someone who is see yourself as a leader? Are you someone that sees yourself as an honest, a caring human? Like what are these attributes of yourself that make up your character? And so now every day moving forward, when you're having these character building moments, you get to identify, okay, I'm not being this is not who I am, because I've already identified these characteristics of who I am. So if I'm doing anything outside of who I am, I'm not operating in my personal spirituality. So moving forward, as we're journaling, even when we might have maybe negative thoughts, we might have experiences which we didn't like, or which were horrific or traumatic. We get to understand that at the base, at our core level, that was never us. So we get to release anything that's not going to serve us, and bring the things that's going to habitually produce a gain for us in our life, and start step by step doing that every day.
Yeah, and not tangential, but to add to that, it's a great space to get very clear on what it is that you want to. We're conditioned from day one, right, to want things that serve other people, not necessarily us, or to serve other interests, not ourselves. So it's a really important and good space to be able to figure out, is what I want, is the trajectory that I'm on in my life, is it in alignment with what actually fills me up, with what actually brings me joy? And +1 to what the Power of Song said, that's actually what I was thinking. I have a vague memory of co-journaling, and it was with my abuser. And so it ended up like giving that person access to even more parts of myself that ended up being ravaged. So yes, co-journaling is very important to couple with safety, so that you can explore, who are you actually? Who are you under all the socialization bullshit? Like, who are you, and what really matters to you?
And to speak to what Devon said, the power of those 2 words, I am, be very mindful about what follows those 2 words.
Yes.
You're creating.
All right, guys, let's start thinking about our daily challenge. It needs to take less than 5 minutes, cost exactly $0, and be available to anyone in the world from Kathmandu to Fiji. And it's something that you guys are going to do as well. I'm going to challenge you. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think a very simple one is to give yourself just 5 minutes every day to journal in one of these ways, right? So 5 minutes to free write, or 5 minutes to auto record something that's coming up, or 5 minutes to take out your phone and to just start speaking to yourself, processing about from the minutia, like how was your day, to who am I, what do I believe, and why. That why is so important. Toss in the why like 3 or 4 times. Why. That's mine.
Why? All right. Power of why. Any other thoughts?
Definitely.
so
Accountability, which is what they were saying as well. Also, have one person. So you journal every day, however you like. And then we want to cross the neural pathways, right, of the logical and the creative. So have somebody that you text one part of your journal to, something, just one sentence, and that person and you will promise to text each other every day something from your journaling experience.
I'll put that one more, post it on
Yes,
social
most
media
definitely.
for your
Oh, you want
accountability.
to go, Zay?
Yeah.
Go on, Zay. I know you want to say
I
something.
would say just trust what comes out of you. You know, you don't have to, just because you have a thought or just because you have an emotion, you don't have to identify with that. You know, allow yourself to express it. If you like it, do more of it, or experience more of it, think more of it. But if you don't like it for yourself, you know, say, oh, I don't like that thought. I don't like that emotion. How can I, you know, work and journal or do activities to get away from that and heal that process? Because there's probably something deep down under that you're avoiding, which is why those thoughts or those emotions are coming up. But allow space while you're doing these different techniques. Just don't judge yourself. Allow space for you to experience and explore the different thoughts and emotions that come from you. And just know that this is a process of healing, not judging yourself and condemning yourself because you had a bad thought or emotion.
Yeah. When it comes to spiritual health, a challenge that comes to mind is 5 days of curiosity and creativity. So what does that mean? That means listing 5 things that you're curious about on your spiritual journey, and then you write down another column, five ways in which you can explore those curiosities. And then so that can be a challenge you do every day. You choose one of those things on your list that you're curious about, and then you do a creative action every day to explore that.
All right, so we have a question from the audience. What kind of things would you record? It feels awkward to me. So we all agree that we should do some sort of journaling. I like the accountability of texting a friend like a sentence. I'll probably video journal right on the Facebook. But I like Devon's ideas of having prompts, right? So maybe we think of some sort of like a new prompt every day that you can you read the question, hit record, or put your pen to that, or type, or however you want to do it. Read the question and you just flow.
Yeah.
So I like it. You said 5 things that you're curious about spiritually.
Yes.
How do you guys feel about that?
And you can.
Or it could be.
Sorry, go for it.
Go on.
I was gonna say. It is good. Like, structure is helpful, right? But when you journal, you can have structure or you cannot have structure. So it's the same thing with video recording. You can find out so much about yourself just by being awkward. Why are you awkward? Right? There's so many reasons why you could be feeling awkward. So start there. Dive into the experience that you're having in this moment. We're always somewhere else. We're always outside of our bodies. We're always somewhere in the future. We're somewhere in the past. We're not here, right? And so if you just start there, if you dive into yourself, if you dive into the present moment, if you dive into what am I experiencing right now and why, that's where you can start. Or you can fish through your memories and you can talk to yourself. Talk to yourself. Look at yourself in the camera. Just look at yourself. Notice what you notice and talk. And then notice how you talk. And that's all you have to do. And it's going to be awkward because we're not used to it. We're used to producing for others. We're used to producing videos for others. We're used to existing for others. Like, especially depending on your identities. Like, the more marginalized you are, the more that you're used to being a thing for others. But create for yourself. All right.
We are running out of time. I think go ahead, Zay, real quick.
Oh no, I second everything she says. Okay. Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, so here's what I've got. So we're gonna journal. I'm gonna leave it open-ended. You can do 5 minutes, you can do 30 seconds, whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm gonna leave that up to the user. So you can journal on paper, You can, Amparo, you sound smoothing apparently. All right. No ice cream for you, Zay. It's us and Devon. Okay. All right. We got to focus here, audience. We love you, but we got to get a challenge done. All right. So we're going to journal however you want. I'm going to do video live on social media because that's how I do. And I'll hold it accountable, tag all you fuckers, and make sure we all do it together. And then if you don't feel comfortable with that, that's fine. You can video record, save it to yourself. You can write it down however you want to journal. Totally cool with us. We're going to, and we're also going to share. So mine's going to be public, right? But you can also, if you're private, you can share one sentence with an accountability partner, like Elle said, or you could just take a sentence and post it on your socials, something to hold you accountable. And I'm going to leave that up for the user as well. The prompt is going to be, what do I want to create for myself today?
Yes, love that.
Any objections with our daily challenge?
Love it.
Love it.
All right. In that case, we are so far behind. I'm going to say thank you all to our guests. You were amazing. Great stories. Thank you. I thought the episode was fun too. But we got to move on. We're going to have to get longer episodes. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to wrap up real quick and I'll talk to y'all backstage. And to all of you watching, thank you so much for watching another episode of Millionaires Are Made. Our daily challenge is journal on paper or video or type however you want. The prompt is going to be, what do I want to create for myself today? And for accountability, you have to take at least one sentence and either share it with a friend so they know you're journaling, or post it on socials if you're a little crazy and want to be more public. Stories, thank you so much. I thought it was an awesome one. Amparo's voice was soothing, dominating. You're hilarious. Zay and Devon. It was great. We got to wrap it up. So I hope you all had a great one. This was Spiritual Health on Journaling. And please make sure you follow all of our guests. I think all the comments say you guys loved them. So go follow them, see what they're doing. Maybe you'll see their journals live, and hopefully you'll join us in our daily challenge. Make sure you like our page.